Cool. All righty. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Let me take a quick peek. I've got the other slides here somewhere. So TJ, you have any questions for me before we start talking about cold water therapy?
No, not really. I mean, it's just something that I've seen become kind of a trendy thing. A lot of like
Yeah.
fitness influencers are all like, they always like they start their mornings doing a cold water plunge for like 5 minutes or something like that, and they all like swear by it. But I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical just because when I feel like that demographic starts to latch onto something and you get that many people doing it and it becomes such a fad, feel like it's not always what it seems. So
Yes, be
interested in
skeptical.
hearing
We
more
love
about
it.
it.
We love it. Be skeptical. Ryan, what do you know about it, dude?
Uh, Not a ton as far as I would say evidence-based personal research, but just from
Okay.
just from hearing about it, I would lean towards that there is some definite like positive effects for it.
Yeah,
But just like anything else, it would have to be pretty um pretty routine, not just like a one-off type of thing. Like that has to be part of your new thing for a good while for you to really have long-term
for
success.
sure. For sure. Yeah, so we'll definitely get into it. Um Crazy enough, I learned things going through this as well, and I am an avid cold water therapist, or therapy, I guess would be the proper term. Yeah, so I'm someone who does cold plunges, but definitely did not know all about it before I even did the research for this the last couple of days. So we'll definitely get into all those things. So real quick background for, I guess, the future potential listeners of this. My name's Blaze. I'm here at Blue Chip Athletic Club. And real fast background about me. I've been all ends of the spectrum in my health and wellness journey. Everything from the 150-pound kid soaking wet, going into college, to the 230-pound kid who was ego lifting and had no idea kind of what to do along my health and wellness journey. And what I didn't know, along this whole timeline, and I guess I'll move us kind of up and out of the way here. Well, maybe I'll move us over here. Let's go here. Um, Achieving your dream body doesn't take 2 hours in the gym. You got to understand it, listen to it, and work to improve on it every day, or at least every few days. That way you can stay consistent. Now in my current state, I train hard, but it's never more than 45-ish minutes per day or every couple days. I feel better than ever, educating myself in and out of the gym to really find what works for me. And I want to share that image and that mantra kind of with everybody that works with us here at the program. So now, obviously, a lot closer to, but never actually at the dream body type of phase. And standing here with my boy Jordan Smalls, who's an NFL player. So, he makes me feel pretty small standing next to him. But yeah, quick a little bit about me. But today, the reason that we're all here to chat about cold water therapy. So what it is and how it can help you along your health and wellness journey. So real quick, what is cold water therapy? This was actually on Mythbusters, a quick little picture of them trying to debunk or bunk the myth of what cold water therapy is. But it's basically exactly this. You're getting in a body of water. Typically, they say it's going to be somewhere. Well, I guess it depends on who you ask. Below 60 degrees is considered, cold water immersion. But again, like this would be what I call kind of the extreme case when you're out and likely going to be around freezing or below freezing here in this water, super cold, and a very snowy and place that I would not like to live. So why cold water therapy? What does it even do? So research has basically proven that cold water therapy can do these 5 things: improve muscle recovery, enhance your circulation, boost your immune function. You can have some pain relief in the short term, as well as mood enhancement in the short term as well. And we'll kind of go into what each of these kind of look like for each different section. So improved recovery. So recovery, I think, is one of those things that's incredibly undervalued as a piece of a health and wellness journey, something that a lot of people don't really take a lot of time to understand, delve into, or really, investigate. As you start to kind of be on this health and wellness journey, people will be on a huge kick. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to work out for 2-3 hours a day. You never let your body kind of repair and recover, and you end up putting yourself in a spot where, are you truly starting to make progress, or is we'll call fitness stealing your fitness along your journey? So with that, when your muscles and body are going to be shifting into this recovery style of phase, what it's doing is it's allowing your body to take that time to repair, rebuild muscle tissue, and then be more, we'll call, I guess when muscle fibers break down, they tear, and then you'll rebuild those with nutrients, proteins, etc., as you start to repair. And this kind of the way this looks here, as your, this fake man's arms look, your muscles here are these kind of fibers over here on the left. As you start to break them down and work out here, it starts to make these micro tears. And then after your recovery stage, and as you start to build your muscle, it starts to rebuild even larger. So as you can see, muscle here in the middle of the workout here, and then post obviously is larger. And this is, not going to happen in a day, but something that happens over time. So second benefit here is going to be improved circulation. The way this looks, you end up delivering more effectively oxygen and nutrients to the extremities, as well as all your internal organs. And what that does, it helps improve your heart function. Your energy levels start to go up because of your increased circulation throughout the body. The circulatory system is connected to a ton of different other systems in the body, as I'm sure everybody's aware. But, with that, you're able to have warmer extremities. If you're somebody that suffers, I know it sounds kind of weird, right? Getting cold water so that your feet and hands can be warmer doesn't really make a ton of sense. But these are lasting effects and something that's not immediate. But you'll see that if you start to do this with an improved circulatory system, your feet, hands, and those outer extremities can actually be warmer as a result of that over time with that improved efficiency. Healthy skin is another thing. I know everybody's heard kind of like, hey, take a cold shower on your scalp and it'll kind of help your pores and help your hair grow, or help your skin on your head. That's true for the cold water therapy as well. Next one's going to be boosted immune function. And again, sorry, I've got the post-workout cough, so stick with me here. Cold water therapy can increase your immune cells, which basically enhance your immune function. So, you're fighting off that that flu, cold, whatever it is, COVID-19 for us who have lived through that. With those increased immune cell counts, you're able to more effectively fight those diseases off and actually be more prepared in your body to stay healthy and actually improve your recovery and also improve your performance. Next one's going to be a little bit of pain relief. This is funny. I don't know if anybody's watched Family Guy, but this scene makes me laugh. So localized pain relief for short periods of time by reducing inflammation. So let's say you hurt something. Everyone always used to say RICE, rest, ice, compression, elevation, right? And in the short term, a cold water immersion in general can be something that gives you short-term pain relief because you're reducing the inflammation to the area. But in the long term, it's not something that you can rely on all the time to, just because you have a torn muscle, you can't just get in an ice bath all day long to do that. You're going to start to lose the effect. So after that short-term pain relief, it's important to promote blood flow to the area so that the muscle tissue can actually repair itself with your body's natural functions. Next one's going to be mood enhancement. This is like arguably the best, or at least my personal favorite reason as to why cold water therapy. It releases a couple different hormones in your body that are going to, make you feel really, really good. So runner's high, or that endorphin release, is something that starts to come out. You get an adrenaline kick because you're activating sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous systems, fight or flight responses. We chatted about those a couple weeks ago. As well as the noradrenaline, which is basically your focus and alertness. So when your body enters this fight or flight state, you start to really hone in on what your, purpose, your mental clarity, you start to kind of see the bigger picture of what you're doing. I find that it kind of blocks out the noise and can be almost meditative in that way. And then the dopamine hit, I'll say, when you come out of cold water, no matter if it's 60 degrees or 38 degrees, you kind of feel like a badass. You have that like feeling of like you're a superhero conquering something, and that's directly related to that dopamine rush that you kind of get after the fact. So kind of like a rave, except without the drugs and the, and the other effects of that. That's why I had that photo in there. I digress. So what's the downside? I listed a ton of different things that are really great for, why you should cold plunge, or why it's been proven that it'll be good. But, what are the negative effects? What are some things that could eventually hurt you? And I'll say prolonged exposure is something that you don't want. Prolonged exposure is, hypothermia. You start to get skin irritation or frostbite. Like we're talking a very long time in this cold water. We're talking 15, 20, 30 minutes or, hours. This is something that you should not be striving for. The point is to make it a short amount of time. And I'll kind of talk about what the research suggests in that regard. But if you're starting to get to this hypothermic, your skin's super irritated or frostbite state, you're definitely doing it wrong. As far as your increased heart rate and blood pressure, this is something that is your body's natural response to when you get into the cold water. Just like shock or an adverse reaction, or just being like kind of like afraid immediately when you get in the water. So your body is going to go into that fight or flight state. And if you're not going to fight, you're going to flight, obviously. So you're going to pop out of that cold water, or your body's also going to increase. Your heart rate's going to go up. Blood pressure is going to go up right away. And the key when you are doing it is to try and control your heart rate, control your breathing so that you can bring those back down. Because in the long term, if our circulatory system's working better, your heart rate and blood pressure will actually go down over time when you're using cold water therapy on a regular basis. So what do experts say? Experts basically say that your cold water immersion should be about 11 minutes per week. Optimal recovery, they're saying that you should essentially plunge between 3 and 6 minutes after training. And what that looks like, if you're looking for optimum recovery post hypertrophy training, which is typically what we're doing all the time, is you do it 4 hours after the fact. Because if you're going to dip in the cold water right after a workout, what it can do is take away the inflammatory thing that you want, aka like the pump that my boy Arnold talks about. And when you take that away, your body's not able to throw a bunch of blood to that tissue to be able to repair faster and more optimally. So experts say if you wait 4 hours, that's going to be kind of optimum between muscular recovery as well as not killing the pump or killing the gains, if you will. And there is such thing as cold in general, which is you want to get out, but you can stay in safely. If you're too cold, that's going to be like, hey, I cannot stay in this water safely. So you need to either warm the water up or get out, obviously, because it's your body telling you that. So you should know the difference between the two. And it's something that you can obviously get used to and accustomed to and start to build your tolerance over time. Okay, so what do? I talked to you about the goods, the bads, what the experts say, and I'm going to tell you what I do because it kind of contradicts a lot of those things. For me personally, the way that it works into my schedule is I have this sweet little wine barrel that's converted into a cold plunge that's got a aquarium water chiller attached to it with a couple filters. And essentially what I'll do is after my workout, about 30 minutes after workout, I get in there, and it's typically the water's between 40 and 45 degrees, and I pop in there for 5 minutes a day. Now, understood, experts say 4 hours after training for optimum recovery. You know, granted, yes, I understand all those things. But I'm not in there for the physical effects and the physical, I guess, benefits of the cold water therapy. I'm in there for the mental battle, the toughness that you have to do, embracing a little bit of discomfort, calming the body in a high stress environment, and then making sure that I'm, you know, checking my box, filling my cup before I have to go into work and do anything else in the morning. So for me, it's more important that I'll let the gains get me there after that. I'm in it for the long haul anyway, and I'll take the mental battle and win serotonin, dopamine release, all those great things for me throughout the day versus trying to do it at, you know, midday when I get off of work. Cause I think for me personally, it's easier for me to punt that later on in the day. And in general, it's too damn cold out there. So do you guys that are here live have any questions about cold water therapy? Anything that I kind of talked about? Hit me with some of the questions that you may or may not have. TJ, you got anything?
Yeah. So those effects that you had listed, did you say those were lasting effects, or you say those were temporary
Which
effects?
ones?
Like the improved circulation, the clear skin.
Yeah, so those things are over time. So immediately those things aren't going to be, you know, very readily apparent. But as you kind of progress and continue to expose yourself to cold water therapy over the course of, you know, however long, you'll see improvements in those things. So it's kind of like, you know, finances or a health and wellness journey or whatever you kind of want to relate it to, is that little bit of an investment into the cold water therapy is going to improve those things over time. So you'll see improvements and benefits for the body as you kind of progress.
Have you looked into the improved circulation at all? Because I like hearing that. I just imagine in my mind it's because when you get into the cold water, your heart rate is just going to increase. So, you know, doing that every day for a little bit out of your day, I think naturally it's just going to improve your circulation. Is that kind of the science behind it?
Yeah. So the improved circulation is basically going to come from your heart and extremities kind of being used to that and adapting to that norm while you're in the water. And then it, just like anything else, it's a muscle, right? So when it's exposed to that extreme environment, it's going to be working harder. And then ipso facto, when you are exposed to those types of things later on, you'll feel and reap the benefits. So that's kind of the science behind that is exactly what you're talking about.
But it seems like there's a limit then, right? Because
Of course, yeah, everything has its limits, right? You can't get in the cold water every day and then expect that that's the only thing you have to do and your circulation and heart rate is going to be that much improved, right? But I'll say, you know, I have been doing cold water therapy now. It might be a year, maybe. I don't think it's been actually that long. And I will say that since I began doing it, until now, my resting heart rate has dropped, and pretty much every night I get my resting heart rate below 40 beats per minute. So I think that's improved circulatory system as well as kind of all those other benefits that I'm kind of reaping over time. Brian, what you got, dude? Oh, TJ, anything else? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was all I had. Thank you.
Okay, sweet. Ryan, what you got, man?
I think that all the science and research based stuff is great that they have these days, but I think it's just been something that some cultures have experienced and know about in general for millennia. Scandinavian countries with cold plunging, Native American cultures with sweat lodges and cold plunging, stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to see maybe there is an explosion for it, you know, the trendiness perhaps, but and it might fade off a little while, you know, after just like all things trendy or fad like, but I think this one might be around to stay for a little while. So
yeah, I totally agree. It's funny because I feel like the cyclical nature of all those things kind of just is always there, right? And always apparent. Like people on the carnivore diet or people doing cold plunging and all those things, like those fads kind of come around, they come and go. But I think, you know, a couple of things remain true. And while you're looking at the trends of those people, you can even look at like happiness levels in countries and people that have been doing that for however long. And, you know, with that increased hormones and those happy hormones, serotonin and dopamine, like people are generally going to be a happier culture that end up doing it, embrace that challenge and really get after it. And I'll say there's a couple people that come and train with me here in person. And they've been doing the cold plunge as well. And, you know, whether it's a mixture of that and the fitness, they're like, you know, totally reinventing and changing their life and the things that are happening around them, going back to school, you know, getting into colleges, like doing all these things and kind of really starting to apply principles of embracing a little bit of discomfort in the plunge to other outside pieces of their life, which is really, really cool. Cool, you guys. Well, I appreciate you guys hopping on the call. If you guys have any further questions or anything like that, always feel free to reach out. Glad the program's going well. TJ will have to talk maybe on the phone in the next couple of days too. I know I've been meaning to give you a ring, but haven't gotten around to it. So let me know if you've got some time over the holidays. But if you guys don't have anything else, I will see you around.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
See you guys.
I will see you.
Bye.